This is our disclaimer. We are not professional psychologists, but we care about mental health and building mental resilience, especially amongst young people. We aim to challenge the stigma and dispel the taboo narratives surrounding mental health, especially in Africa, striving to foster positive change and open conversations about this important issue. We will share tips based on reliable research and stories from our personal experiences or that of others. Welcome to Mind Over Matter NG, where we are all dedicated to cultivating a generation of intentional Africans who prioritize personal growth, mental and physical health. This episode you're about to listen to was recorded 2 years ago, just after the conflict started between Russia and Ukraine. Yes, it took us this long to fundraise, to kickstart, and we're still fundraising at the moment. Hello. If you're listening to this is another episode of Mind Over Matter. And on this episode, Khadija is not here, but it's because this episode is about bring a friend, right? Because research has shown that people who struggle with any sort of mental challenge, you think that the schools or your parents are actually your first point of contact, but it's not. It's actually your friends. And that's why Joy is here with me here today. Joy, say hi.
Hi, guys. I'm so happy to be here today. I am the friend that Shushi has brought. I've known her for since we were born. Therefore, I'm not going to mention our ages. Thank you. And we've been friends for so long as well. And I feel like it's just very important that she also that we're talking about this, because I think our friendship also depicts how having friends can truly support you through your mental health experience and your journey to becoming a healthy and better you.
I really value Joy's opinions. I would say that Joy was probably my biggest shrink growing up in secondary school. She's just so good at talking to people. So I want to talk about you. How have you been? Because I think that's a very important question to always ask your friend. But even beyond how are you, I think the more important question is how have you been taking care of yourself?
I've been okay. I feel like a lot of people have been asking me these questions recently, and I'll just say I'm surviving, right? And it's just because sometimes that is all that you can do, right? Survive, because life in itself, especially adulting, is difficult, especially if you came from a childhood that was, I'll pretty say for me personally, it was easy in the sense of I was good in school. I finished school on time. I did what was expected of me. I was a good kid. I was a good friend. And I just kind of have always had this mindset of needing to be good in everything that I do. And then I grew up and I realized that I guess that's not true after all. So for the first time, you're encountering failure.
Yeah.
And additionally, for the first time, your future is absolutely uncertain. And no matter how hard you work, you might just still fail. Unlike in secondary school or uni, where literally all you had to do was read for your exams. And as long as you read, you would pass. At least for majority of people. Of course, there are people that suffer from dyslexia and other, deficiencies. Irrespective, for most people, if you read, you pass your exam. And then now you're an adult and you're applying to jobs and you have all the right qualifications and you're not getting it. You're getting into relationships and they are seemingly perfect and they just don't work out. And you're okay. And you start a business and you put all that you have into it and then it fails. Or you have friends that die, or you have parents that die, or you have your loved ones that die, and life just hitting you in the face back to back, and you're wow, how do I get past this every day?
Literally every day, because for the rest of our lives, every day something is happening.
Yeah. And then it's now the understanding for the first time as an adult, knowing that there is no guarantee that's going to get easier. I feel like when we're kids, we just felt like, oh, things will surely get better. But like sometimes they don't. Sometimes you're traveling to Kaduna and bandits attack your train.
I did a prayer on the last episode for the victims on that train, because I've been on that train.
Same.
That could have easily been any one of
Yeah,
us.
yeah.
Like, it feels so close, which also makes me feel, what is even that phrase that I just said, so close?
Yeah. So
You
cool.
know?
Yeah, it means like it could have literally just been you, because you have lived that experience.
By the way, Halim was supposed to be on that train. He took a train earlier. Guys, Halim is our friend who we all started Y4Y together. Obviously we've all transitioned into different things in our lives, but we still keep in touch from time to time.
Yeah.
Wow.
And like that's why it's so close. And it's kind of like all of this is happening and you're still supposed to function as an adult, meaning, go to work, have money, and take care of your friends and your family. So when people ask me how I've been, I just say I'm surviving and I'm trying.
And this is for anyone who's listening. I just feel it's not enough to just ask your friends anymore, how are you? Because the truth is, your automatic response is going to be, I'm fine, or it's okay. We need to ask each other more deliberate questions that allow us open up more. Which is why I asked, truly, how have you been taking care of yourself?
Yeah. It's like, how have we been friends this long? And how were we able to maintain our friendship? And for me, I would think it's just because fundamentally being friends with you has just always meant that we have always been there for each other, irrespective of like our personality traits, irrespective of like the different career paths that we're taking. Like literally our career paths can't be any more different, you and I.
They changed, guys. I even need to introduce her properly because her job is saving lives, okay? Literally. Omolayo Joy Anjorin is a medical doctor. And honestly, the ginger to even start recording this episode started from, she told me something that I actually did not know about. And I'm sorry I didn't even think to consider that, because all this while I just felt you had your degree.
Yeah, I don't have it anymore.
Just the world about just this what happened. And honestly, how are you comprehending that?
Okay, so firstly, let me just do what I would. So it's more like, so it's kind of like, you're trying to be like ambitious. Well, maybe not even ambitious. You're just like trying to do more things with your life, basically. And I was applying for an exams and a couple of like other things academically anyways. And then I had to send my medical degree original transcript and original certificate to Ukraine, which is where I went to school. And like I sent like February 12th, and then it took like a couple of days to get to Ukraine. So I called my friend that, I've sent it, so can you go and pick it up?
Ukraine, which is where
Ukraine.
You went to.
Yeah, which is where I went to school. And then I called my friend like, can you like go and get it? He's like, okay, fine, I'll go on Saturday. And on Wednesday, Russia invaded Ukraine. I'm like waking up, I'm like, nah, come on, Putin. It's just a joke now. It'll just be like 3 days. Next thing, my university is bombed. So even if I don't get my degree back, I don't even have like a school to be like, hey, remember me? I finished in 2016. Can I have like a new document? I don't know when that's going to happen. And that's basically like all of my 2022 goals on like question mark. Yeah. So when that happened, I think for me, it was just like, here we go again. Like adulting, like, like it's just like everything is just trying to punch you all the time, everywhere. And you do not want to stay down. I am not in any way up. Like, let's not be confused. Like, I'm half of the time, like, struggling. But it's just kind of like letting go, I would say. And I'll say that's kind of...
How do you let go?
Yeah. I'll say that's what I'm learning. I think it's a process of knowing that you've done your best. It's literally like knowing where your best stops at and knowing like I've done my best and I don't have to leave the rest for it to happen. And in different, and like that varies from like relationships to like work to like academia. And it's like I've sent everyone that I could send emails. I've called every single person that I could call. And now it's just like, I'm not going to be calling my dean or people in my school when they're probably like hiding out in Poland or in Romania and trying to survive. And I'm like, oh, can I have my degree back? Like, that's just very selfish. It's just kind of like deprioritizing your needs because of things that are just more important.
I understand.
Yeah. And I would say letting go. Like, obviously, there's always like religion aspect of it. It's just kind of like leaving things to God and just knowing that you've done your best. And just like praying for the strength to move on. Like not like particularly move on from your dream or like move on from that thing, but to be able to do other things while everything else could be chaotic.
Yeah. And just, I guess it's the letting go of the idea that, okay, I cannot control this thing.
Yeah.
Like it is actually beyond my control. And so I have to leave it in the hands of God.
And I have control issues, so it's difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm really sorry that had like happened to you. You don't deserve that.
No, yeah. Thank you.
In fact, the people of Ukraine don't deserve half of what they are going through. And it just goes to show you how one person's action can literally affect so many people.
Yeah, and it was kind of like, while that was happening to me, and I'm like panicking about my degree, I had my friend, her 3-month-old baby, her husband, and his brother running from Ukraine. And I'm like, okay, you guys come to my house. And here they are, having had spent like 6 years in Ukraine building a life. They had bought 2 houses, put like all of their money into, they literally moved from Nigeria to Ukraine for 6 years. They've been there. My friend, like I knew her, that means she's been there for like 12 years. Wow. Now they speak Ukrainian, their kids speak Ukrainian. And I'm like, sis,
how
like,
are they going to just even rebuild or start?
Exactly. How do you rebuild your life again? So I am having a family that like, you know, I had to convert the place that I live, like the sitting room, into like a makeshift bed. I had to like put my own room for like me and my friend to stay. And she's like, I can't believe that our car didn't even have the space to put our baby basket. And she was like, do you know how I fought my husband that I must buy this baby basket? And now it doesn't matter. And she now touched her hair because like she's like, this is the first time that I'm like, I can exhale. I can't believe I forgot all my wigs. Jesus. Wigs that I'm like $500. I have to buy these Brazilian wigs. I left everything. She's like, how do you fit your life inside one suitcase? And that's because your baby deserves more space. How are you carrying your baby? And she's like, literally, they were sleeping just like every other day, right? I mean, because I lived in Ukraine for 6 years. The whole idea of like the Russian invasion was always there, but we just never believed that it would happen.
Yeah.
So even while people were like, Russia will invade, I was rolling my eyes out and saying, come on, Russia wouldn't do it. So I could understand why people that were in Ukraine would not leave, because you would not believe that it would happen. So she's like, she's sleeping and literally wakes up to the sound of a bomb. And she's hearing the sirens, and she's hearing, get to the bomb shelter. Her husband is like, it's time to go downstairs, get money from the ATM. Let him start getting the things to the car. She's lucky they had an ATM like right in their apartment complex. We drew everything from their account. And she's like, thank God that my husband was smart enough to do that. Because within an hour, every single bank was frozen. If you had money in your bank, the bank wasn't letting you get the money out, because that meant that every single person was withdrawing money at the same time. I mean, if everyone emptied their accounts, the economy would just collapse. Nothing was working. Within an hour, every single card was frozen. You could only pay with cash. And this is you driving all the way from Ukraine to try to find shelter. And she's like, she has never, and her husband had never driven that long. He'd never been in a car. I think they drove for like over 3 days to actually get to the Netherlands.
Wow.
And she's like, the highway, the freeway, or I don't know, wherever anybody else is, express was here in Abuja, turned into traffic. It was like completely traffic. And then they get to the border. Their car, by the way, is parked because they're like calling their neighbors, like, oh, where are you? You know, people that you go to church with. Let's all get into my car. Then they had a neighbor that was living right next to them. They were Ukrainians. They had a son, his wife, and his mother, and their, like, I think 1 month old baby. They were driving behind them, and they're all driving to the border of Ukraine and Poland. And she's like, so many things happened at the border. The first thing that happened was all the Ukrainian men had to start coming down from the car and leaving their families and leaving their children and leaving their wives. So her neighbor is the old woman, right? And these are the old woman's kids. So when the son comes out that he's going back to Ukraine, the mother was like, I can't leave my son. Like, she's like 80. I'm not going to leave my son. Like, I'm not going to leave my son to go back to Ukraine alone. She comes out like, what else do I need life for? If all I'll be thinking about is like, my son is in Ukraine fighting. So she comes out, leaves him, and she's telling the wife, like, just be going. Go with the kid. These are people that are in their cars. Then you have students that don't have cars. Because I was in UK for 6 years. I didn't have a car now. I was walking. I was entering the bus. Like, and the students couldn't cross the border without a car. Then she saw these two Nigerian siblings. And she was like, the girl reminded me of you when you were in first year. You were like, I was barely 16. And the girl was with her brother. And but they only had space for one more in their car. That let the girl go with them, let them cross. The girl was like, I can't leave my brother. And like everyone was like crying, like, what is this? Like 2 days ago, we are sleeping peacefully. And today, we are refugees. Just like that. And that's the thing about life. Literally, it's just like that. Like your life can change just like that.
The country that we're in, I'm beginning to get those vibes.
Yeah.
God forbid. Because to some extent, Ukraine, yeah, you can enter a car and drive to like your neighboring country. But far, we in Africa, where we go drive to?
Like Cameroon or Ghana, but they like chase us back.
I like what you said earlier about what can you fit into a suitcase.
Yeah.
Like literally the nick of time. What are the things that matter to you most? Like if you were just get up and leave and you have one suitcase, like what would you put in there?
Exactly. And it's not even just like thinking about it in the material sense. It's just thinking about it even like in the concept of what we're talking about, like in terms of mental health and like what is important in life. It's not the wigs. It's not the awards that you get. Or
it's not the designer bag.
It's not the jobs that you're like thinking that if I don't get this job, oh my God, I would die. It's not your salary. Because people left there without any single penny that they had. They had 2 houses. That's it. Their houses are gone. They don't have money anymore. Their life is starting from scratch. And she's like here, and she's like, Angel, I'm just happy that my husband and my son is here with me. People had to leave their husbands. How? And it's like, she was like, what this showed you was like the most important things in life are your family and your friends. Not your things, not the accolades, not the things that you think are going to impress people, not your achievements, not your great grand scheme of your 5-year next plan. It's none of that. It's your friend. It's the person that called you this morning and texted you last night. Are the people that you can call and be like, man, I'm tired. And those people get it before you say anything. It's your friends that remind you that it's a lie you didn't really want to go to Canada because they know.
Beyond seeking purpose, I stopped seeking purpose a while ago, Joy, because for me, seeking wellness is more important right now in my life.
Just to be okay and chill.
Just to be okay.
Yeah.
Like in my mental space, in my physical space. I spend a lot of time working out now. I spend a lot of time studying nutrition.
Yeah, like you've really lost weight.
But yeah, I spend a lot of time revisiting memories of things I enjoy doing, like drawing, like designing, and media stuff.
Yeah.
So for me, I love our friendship. I love that we can have these open, honest conversations, and I'm so grateful for you, your life. And I just want you to know that you're one of the strongest people that I know.
Oh, wow.
And you're doing amazing in your life.
Thank you.
Maybe I don't say this as often as I should, but you're good, girl. And you're doing so well. And don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
Oh, I'm smiling. Oh. Chris Jenna, thank you. But then I would also like to just add one thing as well, like in relation with friendship and changing and all of those things. Like,
Go ahead.
I feel like in the process of becoming you, and this is for everyone, like that's you, like who you are, you need to also filter what are your non-negotiables. And this is what are the things or the people that you're not willing to risk losing in the process of becoming yourself. And this only stems from like basically like what we talked about, like what are these things that we're trying to fit in a suitcase? Because mental health is great, and being resilient
It's amazing.
and independent.
But if you're doing
It's exactly. But like the basis of your mental health, the basis of your success can also be held, and it's really great when you have it with your support system. And it's just like always make sure that while you're going through your changes, because even I've gone through my changes, I've had friends that are like, oh, you're different now. And it's like, I'm communicating with you that this is why I'm different. And this is because the people that I'm communicating, people that know me as, I'm going through all these things, is because I don't want to lose you in the process of becoming me. And on the flip side, when you're having friends that are changing, like how you did, or like how I do, or like how all my friends do, is knowing that we're all growing up, we're all changing, but like I would always have love for you, and I'll always love you, irrespective of like if you go from like extroversion to like introversion, like we'll be cool, and it's also like giving your friends the space to become their authentic selves as well.
Beyond me, and my search for authenticity, right? I wish that for my friends more than anything as well. So just to wrap up this episode, today is the 1st of May, 2024. And I want us all to just pause, to recognize a simple truth, that beneath our differences, we are all human beings navigating life's highs and lows together. And in times of conflict, turmoil, and uncertainty, it's easy to feel overwhelmed and isolated. We may even be compartmentalizing our struggles by carrying the world's weight in our metaphorical suitcases. But amidst the chaos and discord, it is crucial to remember that beneath the surface, we are all interconnected, bound by our common experiences of joy, pain, resilience, and everything else in between. As conflict continues to rage all over the world, be part of the ones who choose empathy over apathy and understanding over judgment. Because together we can rewrite this narrative of discord and weave tapestries of hope and compassion. No matter the contents of your suitcase, know that you are not alone. We are all in this together, striving for a brighter tomorrow. This is Mind Over Matter NG, signing off with hope, resilience, and a commitment to our shared humanity. My love and prayers go out to anyone who's listening with a heavy heart. Thanks for listening.